Hey, what's going on? Keith from Trigger Happy. Going to talk about the subject of budget red dots here today. A lot of us are trying to stretch our dollar as far as possible, and we should. And it's hard to know which red dots are best for in a good price range. There's so many brands, so many clones and copies of other things. It's really hard to tell what's going to run and what's not. And often when you get to the gun counter and they're pulling these out, everything looks pretty good in the setting of a gun shop or wherever you're looking at them at, because you're indoors, things look pretty bright. They look like they'll function fine, but when you get them outside and you're in, bright sunlight, whatever, they are hard to pick up. They don't hold zero. They don't hold up well themselves. If you happen to bump it or drop it or whatever, they're just not going to last long term. So you hate to just throw your money away. A lot of us have other higher end stuff. You may have an aim point, you may have an EOTech, you may have something else, but you don't want to put that on every single rifle you have, because some of these don't come out of the gun safe quite as often. So I'm not going to put a $450 optic on every AK or every AR that I want to go out and have fun with. I kind of narrowed it down to two that I have the most experience with that seem to work really well and are of a pretty good quality. The first is one that's been around for a while. It's the Bushnell TRS-25. And this little micro red dot can be found many times for probably under $70, which is a real bargain if you ask me. Quite a bit of movement. You can correct this to wherever you need it to be. It's got a real positive click to it in terms of, you can feel and hear when you're turning this to get your brightness settings. It goes clear up to 11, and I'll turn it on to 11 so we can kind of get a good look at the dot. If I can get it on camera here. There, you can kind of see it down in there. It's very bright. I mean, again, I'm inside, but I'm putting this on a white table here, and you can see how bright that dot is, and it's relatively circular. Some of these lower end red dots, you'll find the dot itself, these are 4 MOA dots, but they're oblong. They're kind of, I don't know, grainy looking. Maybe you have kind of a star effect where it's not very good. This one is, a pretty good dot. So if you're shooting out to, say, 100 yards, you'll find that it's going to put it in a relatively nice pattern for you. No, it's not going to have the precision of an aim point or something like that, but I don't need a 1 or 2 MOA dot on a Ruger 1022 like we've got here. It's just not necessary for what I'm doing. Comes with little covers and things in the package, and I had to buy my own mount here. Some packages you'll find come with a mount, others don't. Still, you're going to be under $100 at least for one with a mount. So it's pretty good deal in my opinion. This has been on this gun for probably 2 years, I would guess. Once I sighted it in, I've never really had to make adjustments to it. So it's held at 0. It's been banged around in my safe, and I think that's a real plus. The other thing is I like the fact that there is 11 total settings, so I can turn it all the way up and get a very bright dot even in sunlight or against a bright sky or horizon there, and I like that pretty well. And then you can turn it all the way down to a 1 or a 2 for, say, shooting in at dusk or something like that. So you've got a lot of settings. It's only red, so I know even some lower end products out there will advertise that they'll have red and green, but again, you'll find that the dot it's not good. I don't like the green setting on a lot of them. So this one, I think if you can just handle the red dot, this is a good buy right here. The Bushnell TRS-25. Real nice product from them. But probably overall my favorite lower end or lower priced, I should say, red dot system out there is the Vortex Strikefire. And if you look into these, you'll find that shooters rave about this platform, and I really like it. Had this for quite a while. You can buy these in the Strikeforce 1 for maybe a shade over $100. You may find it on sale sometimes under $100. I bought this in a little gun shop in West Virginia for I think 120 bucks. And again, that's been a little while ago, so I think that's a pretty good deal. The Vortex Strikefire 2 will retail probably about $180. It has some additional features that this one doesn't have, but I'll run over these pretty quickly here. Comes with scope caps in the box, which is nice, so you don't have to buy additional caps. Again, it has numerous settings for brightness, and they are here. These two buttons right here will adjust the brightness up or down. Then the power button is right here. This is also the button that changes this particular optic from red to green. I find that the green is, it's not as good as I would like. And I'll show it to you here if I can. Not a big fan of the green on this one, but it does have a use in certain times of day, or if you're shooting in a real, I was shooting there not too long ago with this in an environment where everything was kind of gray or brown, a lot of leaves on the ground, and I was having a hard time finding the red, so I did switch it over to green and had no problem picking it up. Comes with a few other things. Does come with its own mount, so you don't have to buy a separate mount. This one is the low mount option running on this AK. You can buy a standard mount more for the AR platform. In the Strikefire 1 package, if I can open it up here, it comes with a 2x magnifier. You can see here, I've never even used this thing. It just, when I put it on once, and everything got a little kind of blurry, so I didn't care for that. Some might like it. Comes with obviously a little Allen key or a wrench there to mount it. But do I like the 2x magnifier? Not really, and apparently most people didn't either, because in the Strikefire 2 package they dropped that that option. So let me see if I can turn this on and give you a look at the, yeah, let's see here if we can get this on camera. And if you can see it down in there, the dot is just above the front sight post there. I'll try to turn it up here and get it a little brighter. There you go. Again, holds zero quite well. I like it. There is 100 MOA of elevation and windage adjustment, which is quite a bit of adjustment. You won't find on a lot of different optics out there. Each click is a half MOA adjustment, so you can really get it dialed in to where you want it. This is a 4 MOA dot again, so it's a little larger dot. I'll switch it over to the green here and show you that the green is just kind of not quite as nice, and I don't know how well this picks up on camera. Here we go. The green, it's really hard to see on the camera here, and I know I'm not doing it justice, but this is on the same brightness setting as I showed the red. And the green kind of goes from being a dot to, again, being more, at least the way I see it, to being almost like a star. Like it has fingers on the dot, and I don't like that. You turn the brightness down, and it gets better, but it's still there. So I should say that the red dot setting on this, fabulous. The green, take it or leave it, but it kind of has the same problems that you'll find on a lot of other bargain type optics, red dot optics. So if you're looking for two types of, whether it be a micro like this Bushnell or more of a standard size like this Vortex, I think these are the top of the line when it comes to stuff that's going to run you between $75 and maybe even $150. This one, and as is the other one, they're made in China, so it is what it is. So is about everything else anymore. So that's kind of what you get anymore. But the only other complaint I kind of have about this one is this low mount. I can't quite seem to keep it tight. I probably need to replace a couple of these screws in here. They just want to kind of back themselves out, and you might even see it. Might be hard to tell, but this one right here, the center one, has already started to kind of back itself out again. I don't know why. I'm not abusive to anything, but that one just seems to want to move quite a bit. I may have to put a little Loctite in there, but boy, I really hate to do that in case I want to mess with this or put a different mount on there. It becomes kind of a pain to get off, but overall, I have no complaints about the Vortex Strikefire. So check these two out. If you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want to put this on, something that doesn't come out of the safe or the closet too often, I think the Vortex Strikefire is really the best bang for your buck. And if you want to go with more of a micro, then the Bushnell is quite good also. So thanks again, Keith from Trigger Happy. We'll see you next time.